Hey team, just a quick video on macronutrients and MyFitnessPal and how to utilize them. So at this point, you should already have the food list that we've given you with your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. Of course, you want to stick to the foods that are on the far left column versus the far right, meaning whole foods versus more processed foods. So MyFitnessPal, how do we use it? How does it work? So you'll see in your MyFitnessPal that we've set up your proteins, your carbs, and your fat goals. Again, your macros or macronutrients are your proteins, your carbs, and your fats. Proteins and carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. Fats have 9 calories per gram. What does that mean? So if you have a protein bar that has 10 grams of protein on the back, you multiply that 10 by 4, because there's 4 calories per gram, then you have 40 calories. The same thing works on any food product or anything that you consume. That's how we get our calories and figure that out. So we have to make sure we pay attention to not just the amount of calories that we have, but also the macronutrient ratio, because that macronutrient ratio really dictates what our body composition is going to look like. Now that we have our MyFitnessPal all set up, we need to start logging in the foods that we consume. The best way to do it is to plan out your day and structure it however you're going to eat. So from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you already know what you're going to eat throughout the day. We highly suggest having protein with each meal, typically because protein is the hardest macronutrient to reach throughout the day. By this time, you should also be utilizing your food scale or measuring cups to measure out the amount of food that you're going to be consuming. This will allow us to figure out how many grams of either proteins, carbs, and fats are in whatever we're consuming. So you'll notice on MyFitnessPal, once you log in a food, the next thing that you'll be able to choose is the amount that you're having. You can also choose the serving size, whether it's in ounces, whether it's in grams or cups. You select that amount that you're having, and then it'll tell you the amount of proteins, the amount of carbs, and the amount of fats. You'll do the same thing for each food that you consume throughout your entire day, and we want to make sure that you come as close as you can. Ideally, you come within 10 to 15 grams plus or minus to the goals that we've set. The closer you are, the easier it is to see how your body's responding to the macronutrient goals that we've set for you, and the easier it will be to make adjustments. And that's essentially it. You plan out your food throughout the entire day to make sure that you come as close as you can to the macronutrient goals that we've set for you. Ideally, you're choosing a variety of different foods out of your proteins, your carbs, and fats. Foods that you like, foods that you enjoy eating, and you know that you can sustainably and flexibly choose between, so that way it's sustainable for the long term. So by doing it this way and flexibly fitting in different types of whole foods throughout your day to meet your macronutrient goals, it'll allow you to develop this healthy relationship with food and understand that no food is necessarily off limits unless you have an allergy. That way in the long term, you know that you can flexibly have or fit these foods into your diet each day, still enjoy them, and still make progress. It may be a little tedious or a little overwhelming at first, but I promise you, if you just stick to it, log in your foods, come as close as you can to your goals each and every day, we will continue to see progress. The more data that we have, the more information we have on how your body is responding, thus the easier it is to make sure that we make the right adjustments for you. A few key things. Make sure that you have protein in each one of your meals that you consume, because protein typically is the hardest macronutrient to reach. Make sure that you do not freestyle your way through each day. This will make it progressively harder and harder. If you're not planning your day ahead of time, then it's going to be that much more difficult to know how to reach your macronutrient goals, and that much more likely to not reach them at all. And that's it, guys. It's really not that complicated. It does take time to get used to, but it does work and it will work, and we are here to answer any questions for you. All right? See you.